Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sitting with us here tonight. Tonight we are going to be discussing John Carpenter's The Thing, which came out in 1982, at the same time as E.T., unfortunately. How you
Uh,
doing, Bathtime? You good?
yeah, I'm all right. I got absolutely beaten up in a football match yesterday, so I've got like calf strains and bruises and like bloody elbows and things.
Ouch.
And then afterwards, I watched the thing, so that did cheer me up. But yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, Sunday was quite a difficult game. I made two mistakes in defence that cost us goals, but obviously, well, luckily it didn't cost us the game. And I had a Thai massage to cheer myself up tonight, and I feel a
Did you
lot better.
apologise to your team?
Of course I do. I always do.
Yeah.
They like, oh, it was very unlike you, so don't worry. Um,
Oh, that doesn't. I don't get that kind of feedback when I make mistakes. I get called at lots of different things.
no,
Um,
because basically we were attacking, and the two times that I went to join in the attack, we gave goals away. So normally, obviously, if I'm in position, them goals ain't going in. So I
Rest
thought this,
defence, Tyrone.
yeah,
Is this 11 aside?
this was eight aside.
8 aside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Like sort of small sided pitch. Think you'll get up there. Yeah,
yeah,
I know. And some more good news that we've got is apparently you found us a leading lady for our short film.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, to be honest, she likes to work with me on anything we do. So she's always up for stuff. She's a really good actress. Um, Yeah, she was in the film that you've seen that I've done. So
Yes. Oh,
she
wicked!
said she's
Is
down
it?
for it.
It's a Polish lift lady.
Yeah,
Right, nice one.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's good. All right. Well, unless you got anything else to say, we should probably do some hellos and get on to the thing.
Big up Bilal, big up Agile Beast.
Yeah, big up lads. Bilal thinks that this is what, a 6 out of 10, and Agile
Agile
Beast 9
Beast,
out of
nine out
10.
of ten. 9 out of 10.
Um, if Agile, if you're giving it a 9 out of 10, I'd be interested to. I'm going to assume that you've seen the. I don't know if you'd call it a sequel. They'd probably call it something stupid like a sidequel. But there's a 2011 version of the thing that only deals with what happened on the Norwegian base. Um, so when the film finishes, it goes straight into the opening shot of the thing. And I think it's actually pretty good. I think it's actually a pretty good film. I'd give it like 6 or 7 out of 10. And
Yeah,
what do you mean?
6 or 7 out of 10. So obviously not as good as the original, but
No,
still
it's
good.
not as good. It's not as good as the original, but it's. I just think that like it reminds me a lot of Alien, where in Alien they go to LV-426, and there's
Mm,
all this weird shit there, like there's like a massive elephant with a sort of chest burster, and all the eggs are
yeah,
there, and then you
yeah,
kind of like. And you always sort of wonder what all that was about. One of the things that I really like about the thing is that there's this other kind of side story that's happened where the Norwegians have discovered like a flying saucer and things, and
mm,
it's something that you always kind of wonder. Like, I wonder what happened at their camp.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
and
true.
so the 2011 version of the thing deals with that, and that's the kind of sequel I like. To be honest, I like the idea behind it.
Mm. Well, speaking of Alien, obviously when you go through the film, you have a few different special effects. A lot of them did remind me of what I'd seen in Alien, to be
Really,
honest. Well,
Alien's
certainly,
a man
as
in a suit.
no, but I mean, like, there's a bit where something pops out of somebody's chest, so it reminded me of what happened in the thing.
Oh, I see. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought I thought maybe you were talking about my favourite effect, which is where John Ginger's head just like starts growing legs and running about. That honestly is a wicked special effect, even now, the way it's lit and
Yeah.
things, it's quality. And just to address something Bilal has said, I have actually seen the 1950s version of The Thing, and it's called Who Goes There, I think, by Howard Hawks, and it's extremely good.
It's
We
based on the
mentioned,
book, isn't it? Because
yeah,
it was a novel originally. Yeah.
we've mentioned this before, I think, on the show, but the 1950s version had at the time the longest ever special effect of someone being on fire. It's like about 20 seconds continuously being on fire. And I quite like the homages to that in this film, where there's a lot of people in fire suits running about.
The first one is very haunting, but we'll get there as we go through it. But yeah, I found that quite sort of scary, to be honest.
Uh,
It's a good screenplay, isn't it? Bill Lancaster's obviously the writer that wrote the film. I think it's quite a strong script. I think Kurt Russell as McCready is a fantastic main character, very charismatic. He's the helicopter pilot, McCready. He's very good. And the one of the actors that I found quite haunting was A. Wilford Brimley, who plays Blair. He's like the senior biologist, I thought, especially towards the end. He looked really sinister. Thought he played the part really well.
mhm.
You got T.K. Carter, who's Niles, the cook. He
Brother roller
provides,
skates.
yeah, he provides like a good bit of comic relief.
I think as I told you earlier, I think he's a bit of a he feels like a sort of token stereotype to me. I mean, to be fair, what were their jobs? What were they doing? Like, you have absolutely no idea what on earth they're doing out there. Like, one's a doctor and one's a cook and one's a pilot, and that's about it. You don't know anything about anyone else. Shout out to my friend Carl. Delighted to see you here, Carl.
Hello, Carl. You've got a few other characters in it. There's quite a few to get through. So you've obviously got Palmer, who's like the assistant mechanic. Got Childs, Keith David, fantastic actor, who's the chief mechanic. Dr. Copper, who's the physician. Got Norris, who's a geologist. Bennings, he's a meteorologist. He's the one who complains about the dog. Got Clark, who's the dog handler, who has a special attachment to his dog. He's a great actor. Gary, the station commander, who I liken to Harry Maguire. Fuchs, who's the assistant biologist. And Windows, who is the radio operator, who is actually maybe one of my favorite characters in this.
Windows is a wicked name.
Yeah, but I loved him in Warriors as well. He played Fox in Warriors, so I loved him in that as well. And shout out to Jed, the dog.
What I thought was quite interesting about this film is there's not a single woman in it. Like, I don't know if you'd be like allowed to make that kind of film now, but I thought it was pretty interesting because a lot of this is about like what it is to be a human in some ways, or what makes you a human. And I like, if you put a woman in this, I think it changes the kind of the tone of it a little bit. And it also you'd have to think that there'd be a bloody stupid scene where the woman would end up being the thing and she'd have sex with someone, and you know how that's going to go. So I was actually like, I was quite pleased that there were no girls in this, because I think it made it a better film.
We did have one feminine character in it. Obviously, McCready starts to play chess on the chess monitor, and he's playing the female chess woman.
The female chess computer. Did you understand the point of that scene?
Not particularly. I just know I like the bit where he goes, cheating bitch, and he pours the drink into the thing, destroys the computer.
But, that's one of the most right. So when we talk about Save the Cat, right? So for those of you who are not watching, Save the Cat is a script writing book that me and Tyrone have read, and it is basically the Bible for Hollywood scripts. Like, since I would say all the way back to Aladdin, pretty much every film you've seen will have been written using aspects of this book. And a lot of the time in older films, it's quite refreshing because, for example, in The Thing, Act 1 is over in about 7 minutes. Like, literally, when they get the helicopter to see the Norwegians, they're going into Act 2. And one of the things that Save the Cat always states is that at some point in the first act, you need a moment where you kind of set the tone of the film, what the message is, and the scene with the chess computer is incredibly important because, to my mind, a lot of this film is about the Cold War. It's
Mm.
about paranoia. It's about the Red Scare. I know that, for example, the gay community think this film is about AIDS, because AIDS could only be found through blood tests and things, and they were having a lot of fun until AIDS came on the scene. Let's be honest. Um,
Mm.
so when he loses that match, he blows the computer up, and to me, that is mutually assured destruction.
Mm.
And that's something that we see throughout the film, where that's essentially what's happening at the end with Childs and with Macready, and it's
Yeah.
also what Blair does. Do you remember when he starts smashing up all the he breaks the JCD and he breaks the
Yeah.
That's about mutually assured destruction, that none of them can get out of there. And I think that that's what the thing with the computer is meant to be.
Okay.
Is that a poor interpretation? What do you think?
It's definitely opened my eyes a little bit. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Kind of sets the tone for how things are gonna go throughout the whole story,
It's
from
also a
start to
bit
finish.
stupid because, isn't it like the first week they've been there or something? He loses one game of chess, rage quits, and he's not going to be able to play chess for the rest of the time that they're there. Massive overreaction, in my
Mm.
opinion.
That's what I thought when he done it.
Yeah.
Um, I like how first of all, I like how the film starts off because obviously before we get to the actual film, you have the opening where we have a flying saucer like flying through
I
space.
hate that.
I didn't mind that bit.
I
It reminded me of
absolutely
Predator.
hate it. Yeah. Oh, you're right, actually. You're right. It's very similar. I just don't think you need it.
Mm.
Because think about it, right? If you went into this film without knowing anything, and the
Mm.
opening scene is some people on a helicopter trying to shoot a dog.
Which I
It,
hated, by the way.
oh
I
yeah,
was screwing. That was having me. I was getting really pissed off with that bit. But yeah.
Bilal, I watched an LGBT. Well, Bilal, one of the things that's great about this film, in my opinion, is it's all about the fear of the of like of an intruder, as it were, right? So I know now, if this film came out, that the opening scene with the dog people would interpret it as about immigration. I absolutely know that that's what people would say, because
Mm.
there's a dog that comes. Dog is a man's best friend. Everyone lets it in. It's actually evil. They shouldn't have let it in. That is how a lot of people would interpret that scene now because of the way the world is. In the sort of 80s, you had the AIDS epidemic with the gay community, which you could only diagnose AIDS with a blood test, which is
Mm.
obviously something we see later on in the thing. And it's about being infected by this horrible thing, and you don't know who's got it and who doesn't have it. So I think that it's a really interesting, quite apt interpretation, because a lot of this reminded me of the COVID years as well, where we were kind of taught to
Yeah.
distrust people around us. Like,
Yeah. And they're all stuck. Well, they're stuck in somewhere they can't get out of.
yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's awful, isn't it?
Mm.
And that's even before we get on to H.P. Lovecraft and things like that. But I tell you what, the reason I don't like the opening shot, Tyrone, of the flying saucer is I think it takes away from later on where they actually find the crash site, and I
Mm.
think it just makes it a bit too obvious. Right, we've got aliens coming. I think if you take that scene out and just
Mm.
start with them sort of chasing everyone, chasing the dogs, I think you got a stronger, more interesting start to the film, because dogs are amazing.
Mm.
Everyone loves dogs. Why are you
Yeah.
shooting a dog?
Mm. But
Like,
yeah, obviously, because later on, when we come to the flying saucer being discovered, it would have been a lot more of a bigger reveal rather than showing it at the
yeah,
beginning. Yeah. So I get where, yeah, I get where you're coming from. Um, yeah, so that bit where the helicopter's riding low. First of all, kudos to them filming that because that must have been a difficult shot to make, unless they use special effects with it for it, which I doubt. Um, but yeah, he's trying to shoot the dog. I always wonder how they managed to kind of film animals and stuff to kind of, because obviously you can't say, run here, run there, but it just looks perfect that shot where it's running and avoiding the fire squad. And then yeah, eventually they come down and this crazy Norwegian comes out of the helicopter and he starts shooting. And then the station commander Gary shoots him right between the eyes. And
And he manages to
yeah,
blow his own helicopter up as well.
yeah,
What a way to start a film, though. Like a
yeah.
couple of scientists like trying to take out a dog. Um, I also loved that the dog, under pressure, ran straight to John Dog, the dog man,
Mm,
and started trying to lick his face.
yeah.
Because I've obviously seen this film before, so I know that there's one of like we see later on in some actually really well done sort of CGI from the 1980s about cells taking over other cells. I've always thought that
Mm,
bit when he's like trying to lick them is the dog thinking right is the thing thinking I've got to infect someone because I'm done here.
mm.
Um,
So that dog was already infected from the other camp. It wasn't originally with them in their camp.
Yeah, I think the implication is that dog is the last surviving thing.
Okay.
So those
That's
two
crazy
Norwegians
though.
have basically won. And
Okay.
notice that they're working together.
Yeah. It's
That's
weird
really
though because
important.
obviously Clark, who's the dog handler, it's weird because the way the dog greets him is like they've met before, and obviously treats it. He brings it into the camp like it's one of their own. So I was a bit confused at the beginning because I thought the dog was actually part of the Americans camp and not the Norwegian camp. That
Oh
makes sense.
yeah, yeah, that's quite that's an interesting way of looking at it, isn't it?
Mm.
Um, no, I didn't see it like that. It's interesting, yeah, because he went straight for one person, didn't he? And it turned out to be the
Yeah,
person that loves dogs the most. What I
yeah.
what I thought was quite interesting about this is that I wouldn't let that dog anywhere near me after that.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, the first thing I'd assume, I might be being stupid here, is rabies.
Mm.
If I saw
The
anyone
thing,
shooting a
yeah.
dog, that's what I'd think.
But later on in the film, the reason why it's quite confusing is because Clark never gets infected, even though he's quite close with that dog. So obviously, when the dog ends up going back into the kennels with the others, it makes you wonder which one was infected. I don't know.
What do you mean? Who was the first person infected?
Yeah. So how did the dog get infected? Was it from the Norwegians? I just
Oh
felt
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. The
yeah.
dog. So the dog's infected at the Norwegian. The dog is from the
Okay.
Norwegians, and
Okay.
it's just running away to try and survive. And
Okay.
it just by chance, I assume, happens on the Americans.
Okay. That's crazy. Fair
Like
enough.
that's definitely what happens in the 2011 version of the thing.
Okay. Cool. Because I've not
Yeah,
seen
and
that version.
Bilal, we complete like it's fairly obvious that the Norwegians are warning them, and it shows the importance of speaking English. I think like you can't be running around in Norwegian, like. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, like so, it's a great opening. And then the next scene's really important as well. Actually, it's just a minor thing, but it shows all of them in the rec room, like playing table tennis, drinking
Playing
stuff.
pool.
Yeah, and it's the only time the whole film you see them as a cohesive social group
Mm.
because that's what a lot of this film is about how they're not socially cohesive, like they don't trust each other after this. And one thing that I wouldn't have minded is just an extra 5 or 10 minutes, like I'll give you a great example. You know how I always make up names for characters?
Mm.
There's a film from the 80s where I can tell you the name of literally every single person in it. Hudson, Hicks, Vasquez, Drake, Apone, aliens.
Okay.
Right. And one of the great things about aliens is that before they get to the alien planet, LV-426, Hadley's Hope, um, they spend quite a lot of time messing about. Like there's the knife game, there's the bit where Vasquez says to Hudson, "Have you ever been mistaken for a man?" There's all this stuff. I really feel this. I feel this film would have benefited greatly from having 10 minutes of just seeing them messing about normally. You know, like I think it would have been really interesting if you found out that the dog man didn't like the cook or something.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like if Charles didn't, Charles doesn't like anything, let's be honest. But like it's just it's like McCready. The only thing you really get is that McCready's a loner.
Yeah.
That's it. And I would have loved to have seen like Gary and a bit more responsibility and things like that, and maybe Blair being really sort of like witty and cordial and things. So his turn is even more like crazy later on. That's one of the only things that I think this film suffers from, is that the first act is too short and it doesn't establish character relationships.
I liked Windows as the radio operator because obviously he's trying to get through to people on the outside and he can't get through to anyone. And I just love how he snaps at them saying, I've been trying, I can't get through to no one. He provides a lot of comic relief, I think. I thought he was a good character.
Yeah, there's another one who's a
Yeah.
stoner with a sort of like, it's really weird. He's wearing like a kind of like cut off like leather, like a denim jacket. Who's he called? I just called him John Stoner in my head.
Is that Palmer? Is that the assistant
Yeah,
mechanic? Yeah,
probably.
it's probably Palmer.
Like I thought he was another weak character.
But I think there's one too many characters, you know. I think that's one thing that kind of lessens the impact of this film. I think they could have shortened the cast a little bit.
And they don't really stand out, do they?
No, there's only a few that stand out.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, I mean, you know, because like everyone knows Kurt Russell, so you know that he's going to be like the main man. And I also really like that they all have beards. I thought that was a really cool touch, because you don't go to the Arctic without growing a beard.
I thought Bennings was a great character. He's the one who gets shot at the beginning. He has the stitches, and I just love how he snaps.
Oh, he started drinking.
Yeah, and he's like, "Can you get rid of this dog and put it back in the kennel where it belongs?" And he also has a go at Niles with the music. He's like, "I need to sleep."
Yeah.
You know? So I thought he was a good character because he's always whinging. So he provide with the characters, you have this variation, don't you? You have McCready, who's like the loner, the serious one. You have Blair, who's witty, he's very intelligent. You've got Niles, who's the cook, always listening to music, dancing with the skates. There's a lot of variation there, but there's a few characters that didn't need to be there.
You need to spend more time with them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, and then that's basically the end of the act, isn't it? Because they then get on the chopper.
Yeah. So McCready and I think it's Dr. Copper who has to leave to investigate the Norwegian base, and then that's where they find the burnt corpse of this deformed humanoid, which is really scary because you can see that it's got two faces, and one of them looks a bit more wicked than the other. And I thought, wow, the special effects here are pretty cool, you know.
Well, what I really like about this, and it's something that reminded me a lot about Alien as well, is I love like the kind of whodunit, the investigation aspect of a horror, because if you know it's like if it's vampires, you kind of have to say, right, sunlight, silver bullets, holy water, like mirrors, all that kind of stuff. Like everyone knows it. So when you get like the unknown and you're kind of like exploring it a little bit, I get really excited because it's kind of like, it's like making order from chaos. And that is like traditionally, like in psychology, that is where that's known as where you're most engaged, when you're creating the rules in a chaotic situation. And what I loved is that there are all these kind of little there are just these little like hooks in there that allow you to hang your own story on. Like there's a fire axe just in a wall. Like, how did that get there? What happened? And it does really remind me of Aliens, where they're walking around and they go, "This is where the colonists had their last stand."
Yeah.
Like they try to brick it. And so when they're walking there, and you see the guy who's like frozen in the chair, and then obviously you get the big set piece of the kind of double man. But I also think it's really cool. You've just got that block of ice. And that's why
the one in the chair. Sorry, go on.
Well, that's why I don't like the flying saucer at the beginning.
I think the one in the chair kind of tells us that he's committed suicide because he's like obviously sliced his throat open and he's got like a razor in his hand. It's like, all right, I'm going to do this so I don't turn into what you are, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
It kind of showed us, it foreshadows what's going to come later on, which is really good.
Yeah, but it also allows you to sort of say, like, maybe, like, maybe he, like the Thing was also there and they both said, we're going to slit our throats. And one of them was the Thing and it didn't matter or whatever. Like, there's loads of different sort of ways you can, like, it's not explained to you. It's just like this kind of like crime scene and you've got to work it out yourself. And I absolutely love that in films because to me, this is, I know it's a body horror film, but it really feels to me a bit like something like Knives Out or an Agatha Christie novel, where it's you've a lot of the time you're trying to work out who the Thing is.
Yeah,
and that's what I absolutely love about it. Where even at the end, like they see Charles run off into the night. And then he comes back at the ending. But there's all these bits in the film where someone disappears, and you're like, ooh.
You just don't know. It keeps you guessing, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's what I really like. So I really, really like the scene in the Norwegian base where you come back with more questions than answers.
And then, they come back to the American base and bring the body back. And then you've got Blair doing his like autopsy and stuff, and he starts taking all these organs out of it, and he says like they're all normal, lungs, kidneys, etc.
Yeah. What did you think of that, Tyrone?
Hello?
Yes, you're back. What did you think about the idea of doing an autopsy and then finding out all the organs were normal? What did that kind of say to you? Or hello? All right, I think Tyrone might be having some issues. So I'll just look at the comments. I was going to do these in a minute. I'm going to start off here with Carl saying, apparently when the dog enters the room, you can see the shadow. That's actually a crew member as they wanted to hide the identity of who got infected. Yeah, like that's patient zero, basically, in it. I'm going to ask everyone who they think that was. Rabies is unlikely, I'd imagine. Yeah, I agree, Agile Beast. It's just that if I saw someone shooting a dog, that's the first thing I'd think of. It's rabid. They should have shouted they're American citizens. Yeah. Shaving your beard is probably a waste of valuable water, I think. It's about keeping your face warm, to be honest, Agile Beast. I don't think McCready is a loner per se. I think he's a NAM pilot, bit on the edge, doing a job in the middle of nowhere. That's very interesting, Agile. I've never thought about that before. But he definitely is portrayed as a loner who just wants to drink and play chess and sit in his little bothy. But I do really like that about being a NAM pilot. That's a really good. I never thought about that. You don't like John Ginger Bilal? No, neither did I. RJ is a murderer. Okay. Charles got found out right in the end. I'm not so sure. And greetings to you, Tully, as well. Are you with us, Tyrone?
Yeah, sorry about that. Someone WhatsApp called me and messed me up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, we were just talking about the autopsy scene.
Yeah.
What did you take anything away from this? Like,
So obviously after the autopsy scene, it kind of gave it away to me that this is someone who's been infected by this alien life form and was human and was obviously transformed. That's what I kind of got from it. Without it didn't really spell it out per se, but that's kind of what I got from it by watching it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think it does spell it out. That's what you're meant to
Mm.
see, because you've got to remember that, like, when they're right back, little doggy is like not acting like a proper dog. He's like watching the helicopter. It's a hell of a performance from that dog, to be honest.
Yeah. Shout out
Like,
to Jed, the dog.
yeah, Matt, he's up there with that one out of I Am Legend for like an awesome dog bit of acting. I haven't seen Good Boy yet, but apparently that's got a good dog actor. But yeah, it's like it's implied. I think that what you're meant to sort of link there is that dog is going to get someone, and then as
Yeah.
Carl was saying earlier, there's patient zero who you just see. All you see is his silhouette. And
Mm,
apparently it wasn't any of the actors, so it's meant to be nondescript. And that is the first person that gets infected.
okay.
Who do you think it was?
What, the first person?
First person, patient zero.
Blair.
You think it's Blair?
I do. I think it's him from the beginning.
I don't. But
Because he's the one who deals with this body at the beginning. He's taking things out, and I think he gets infected when we don't see
why?
it.
All right, fair, I think that's quite a cogent argument. With the one problem is that, like, Blair does some very important exposition where he gets like MS DOS up and he runs that program, that simulation of the cells taking over everyone.
Mm.
Like, why would he do that if he's the thing?
He's
I
probably
think
wondering how long it will take him to control the planet.
he
Well, take
knows how
over
long it
everything.
would take him to. What are you talking about? It's like you looking at how long it would take you to digest a Twix.
I don't know. He just seems like the most. I don't know. He seems like the most intelligent, most conniving out of the lot of them. Do you know,
I
I don't.
think it's John Ginger who gets infected first.
Who's John Ginger? Because you keep giving these guys different names.
He is the guy who dies of a heart attack, and then they.
Oh, him.
I'll tell you why I think it's him, because
Okay.
they later have an election where um, he's offered the chance to take over to be the leader, and he says, "I don't think I'm up for it."
Ah.
And I
Okay.
think it's because he couldn't deal with the scrutiny.
Okay.
So I think that John Ginger is the first person that gets infected. But I have seen this film quite a lot. Like, there are a
Mm.
lot of people, I believe, who think that Blair is infected at the autopsy because apparently, oh, Dr. Cooper, sorry, thank you, Agile. Apparently, a lot of people think it's Dr. Cooper because when he's prodding about the corpse, he licks the pen or something, like what
Okay.
he's prodding it with. So a lot of people think that, but I still think it's John Ginger who gets infected first, and also his afro corresponds the most to the shadow. But this is why I love this film, because you don't know.
None of us know, do we? We can
Yeah,
speculate, which is good.
yeah, and that's quality. Um, and then after that, actually, has everyone here who's saying. Who are we saying for? Right. So Agile thinks it's John Doctor. What do you think? Carl, who do
Okay.
you think it is? Bilal, who do you think it is? Tully, who do you think it was? I don't know who John Farmer is.
Hold on. John. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who you're referring to.
And the person I think you're meant to assume it is Dogman.
Oh, that's Oh, Clark. You're
Yeah,
meant to assume it's Clark. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, yeah, Clark, I think, is the guy that you're meant to assume is the guy. Hair's too long for John Ginger. Guy
He
with a
looks a,
hat.
the shadow looks a bit too. Maybe I know I'm wrong about Blair, maybe, but it looks like the shadow can't have been John Ginger either. The shadow looked a bit too slim
He's got a
to
ginger
me.
fro though. Um,
Nah,
yeah,
think I'm
maybe. I
wrong.
mean, it's like I'm just like I don't. I'm not saying I'm right or you're wrong. I think you're wrong about Blair, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like what I really like is that there's no proper answer for it. All you can say is that it's not certain people because of the blood test.
Mm.
That's so you know it's not Childs, you know it's not McCready, you know it's not Windows, and you know it's not Dogman either. Because he was normal when he was infected, and you know it's not. Well, whatever. Let's like, but then we get the dog attack scene in it.
Yeah, so obviously when Clark has to take the dog back to the kennels and stuff, it looks reluctant to go in, to be honest, at the beginning. And then it ends up going in there, and it ends up like absorbing all the other dogs after it attacks them. And I don't think it gets all of the dogs, but it gets most of them. And then I can't remember if it's Windows who runs back. Well, someone runs back and sees what's going on and calls the rest of them, and they all go in there, and then they go and burn. Well, they basically just
Yeah,
burn
it's
everyone up
it's
and
really
stuff.
cool this scene for two reasons. One, right, I don't like grotesque horror. I'm going to be honest with you, and it's pretty disgusting. Like, but it's
Mm.
very effective. But what I really like about this is that when it starts taking over the other dog, to me, it's a clear indication that one of the humans is infected. I
Mm.
can't see it would take the chance. Like, it's got a human, the humans assimilated or whatever. So
Yeah,
now it's like the buffet is open. And the
yeah.
other thing I think is really cool, and this reminded me a lot of Alien 3. Which have you seen Alien 3?
I've just seen the second one, first and second one.
Right, basically the alien kills someone in front of everyone. So
Mm.
after that, there's no like unbelievers. Everyone understands, they're all on the same page. And the fact that everyone sees it, I think, is crucial for the film. Like, they all witness it, they all understand what the problem is, they all know that it is like a chameleon, as it were, and it
Yeah.
could be anyone. Um, and I also find it quite funny that throughout this film, it's got this great idea of just jumping through the ceiling. Like, I absolutely love that. That whenever it's in problems, it just tries to fly up in the air. Um, but yeah, so I think it's really important that this says everyone's on the same page, and also that it is almost implicit that a human's been infected.
Mm. I
No,
like how I like how Blair does the autopsy and he kind of realizes this organism can kind of like take over a host and just mimic it.
yeah, well,
Like
this
it
is
can,
kind of like the proof of
yeah,
it, isn't it? Where they see that the
yeah.
dog um, is there, and then what happens? What happens after that? I've forgotten already.
So they gather a bit of research and then they go to the I think McCready and someone else go to the Norwegian base and they find this really like massive like excavation site and they see like alien
Yeah,
spacecraft. So that's where you first see the flying saucer. But then you also, and he kind of estimates it to be around 100,000 years that it's been there, possibly.
so
And they
would
also
would
find us, yeah, they find a smaller human-sized dig site as well.
would you say that everyone that goes there, because it's Charles, McCready, and someone else? I can't remember who the other guy is.
Is it Palmer who goes there? I can't remember if it's
Yeah,
Palmer that goes.
I'm
Is
going
it
to check
Palmer?
now. It is.
But someone says 100,000 years. I can't I think it might have been Palmer that
Norris.
said that.
Who's
Oh,
Norris?
it's Norris. It's Norris. Yeah. Okay.
What's Norris's name? Give
Give
him
me
a
a
John
second.
name.
He's a geologist. Charles Hallahan Norris. He's the geologist. He's the one who goes out on the field and kind of. So yeah, that would explain why how he knows how old it is because he's guessed 100,000 years.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that they're all human? So we know
It's hard to say.
that
Yeah,
McCready and Charles are human, right?
Yep.
Do you think he's the thing at that point?
No.
Okay. Yeah. And then whilst they're doing that, yeah, Agile, you're right. They autopsy the dog, don't they? And they also watch like 9 hours of Norwegian home videos. And what did you think to this sort of like 1,000-year-old partially buried spacecraft?
They didn't really kind of show us much, did they? You saw the outside of it and stuff. They don't really go in depth and show us, the viewer, like the inside of it. It was all pretty basic, really. Yeah, they could have done more with that.
I found their kind of
they gloss over it a bit.
The fact I just found it like them being underwhelmed by it quite funny. Because what it should have told them is like, so what it tells us, even though the start of the film has told us this, is that this is an alien threat.
Yes.
And none of them are particularly bothered by that or ever kind of mention it, as it were. Like,
it's like, well, have they seen this sort of stuff before? Is it nothing new to them? Do you know what I mean? That's quite funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's because for me, I'd just be like, right, okay, aliens. We're dealing with aliens. I can, right, okay. Like,
well, anyone in their right mind would get out of there, wouldn't they? They'd be like, all right, let's get the radio. We've got to head off.
Yeah, but it's also, none of them kind of say, like, look, lads, we could tell them that we found nothing. And when we get out of this, we are going to be 3 of the most important men in history. You know, like, and the other thing that I thought was quite cool is about 100 yards away, you can see that they've cut a bit of, they've cut that block out of the ice. So the thing crash landed and then was like crawling out of the spaceship, and then froze to, well, went into some sort of cryogenesis, didn't it? I thought that was quite interesting as well. Like that they must have excavated, in it.
Yeah.
They must have excavated this, and at the same time, like you've got Blair gets his computer up, and this is the bit where we see that stuff about the cells taking over.
Yes, obviously he starts to get paranoid as well, because obviously he's done all that sort of data stuff on the computer. Kind of tells him like when it could take over humanity. Starts to get paranoid.
I meant to do this at the time, but I forgot. Excuse my clicky keyboard, but it said, am I right in thinking it said 27,000 hours?
On what?
That's how long it would take to take over the world.
Something like that, yeah. And,
so 27,000 hours. How many hours are there in a day?
24.
So 1,000. It would take 1,125 days divided by 3. It would take 3 years.
Fucking hell.
I actually think that's quite a reasonable estimation myself. It's not going to do it in a weekend, is it?
Well, there was also a funny line kind of after like Blair does all these calculations and stuff. There's also another scene where someone looks at the deformed body on the side. He's like, oh, we've got to get rid of that. And they're like, no, we've got to keep it. You're going to get a Nobel Peace Prize for it. And I thought,
yeah, someone's going to win a Nobel Prize for this.
Yeah.
That
was a good line. Yeah,
thank you, Agile. Like a lot of people always seem to think that for some reason I possess a brain. I don't. I forget like 20. Yeah, how many hours in the day are there? Completely forgot. And yes, the block of ice is explained in the 2011 movie. Although I can't actually recall it very well. And shout out to The Sphere, which is a pretty crap sci-fi film, but a very good book.
Okay.
Do you think it's worth talking? Do you know anything about H.P. Lovecraft?
No.
Right. Okay. H.P. Lovecraft, right, is an author from the very early, like maybe 1920s, something like that. And one of
Okay.
his most famous stories is called "At the Mountains of Madness," and it is
Okay.
about discovering, it's about discovering a sort of ancient civilization in Antarctica, and a lot of these sort of a lot of films take a lot from Lovecraft, and this is obviously inspired by the Mountains of Madness. But if you haven't read it, then we can't really sort of discuss it too much. But I think it's worth mentioning.
Okay.
What I did want to know is that at this point in the film where it's been explained the risk of assimilation, as it were, this is where the film steps up to me from being an interesting horror film into a stone cold great film. Would you disagree with this assertion? This kind of twists everything on its head now.
It gets, for me, the part where it gets interesting is when we see that Bennings gets assimilated, and Windows basically
Yeah,
sees it happen in the room. For me, that's when things get like really like dark. And obviously, Windows runs out. He tells everyone what's going on, and then Bennings is actually running outside. So he's running outside, and then he's
yeah,
surrounded. And that bit where McCready like incinerates him, that's a shocking scene for me. And when you see Gary turn around and say, "That's Bennings, that's my friend," like he can't believe it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That bit, it really tells me like, wow, like the stakes have gone from down here to up here. It goes, yeah.
Yeah,
Any scene for
brutal.
me, yeah. Any scene where there's, because it happened in the Serpent and the Rainbow, where the the main antagonist is set on fire and stuff. And I think to be able to do that on film so convincingly and make it look the way they did, it's really good.
Well, and
So
also
yeah,
it's a
hats off to them.
great callback to the original. Although I wouldn't call
Yeah.
it an original because they're both adaptations of a book. But like,
Mm.
yeah, it's just like, tipping the oil over, burning him with the flare, and it's
Mm.
also the look from the actor's face as he looks up at them with it
And the
feels.
sound as well.
Mm,
There's a
but
sound that comes out of his mouth as well, which is really like shocking. Yeah.
yeah, but did you feel that he hated them?
It looked like it. Yeah.
That's what I loved,
Yeah.
is that this isn't like that. I thought it was so cool because when he turned up as the dog, the thing is like trying to be affectionate and stuff like that, and maybe it's just trying to survive or whatever, or get back to Mrs. Thing on its ship. But the fact he looked at them with such contempt and spite, like
Mm.
it's like this is a villain and he doesn't give a shit. He is going to kill all of you. And
Very dark scene.
yeah, and also one of them is the Thing there, and he's watching his mate die in front of them. So it's not just Gary; it's someone else is doing that. It's a wicked scene.
Yeah, it's probably like the biggest scene for me out of the whole film,
Oh
just
no,
because
the
of the
blood
first time.
test, man.
That was a jump scare for me. I'm not gonna lie, but for me, the most powerful because it comes the first time is Bennings, the death of Bennings, or
Death of
Bennings
Ennings.
thing, what we call him. Yeah, for
But it's
me.
also it's just so horrible, isn't it? When you see him like on the floor with that like I don't know, like the sort of tentacles around his neck, and he just looks like he's sort of covered in like it's sort of like it's like a placenta or something on him.
Yeah, and his
Um,
elongated hands as well. His hands have become
yeah,
like,
but that's the
yeah,
thing because it didn't get enough time to finish. It kind of
yeah,
gambled a little bit
yeah,
there. And poor old Windows, like could have been him. Was it him?
yeah.
Like did he do it on purpose? Who knows?
Mm.
Although we do know because Windows is never infected.
So then,
Um,
I think Blair gets in prison because he goes nuts because he's obviously paranoid and stuff, and he starts destroying everything, sabotages all the vehicles, kills all the dogs,
yeah,
and he destroys the radio. Now the radio's that's a key bit because obviously the radio is their way out, their way to communicate with the outside world, and he completely destroys it. So maybe that's what made me think he was infected from the beginning because he was the stuff he was doing just didn't make any sense.
Well, mate, I think that this goes back to the bit where Macready throws whiskey in the computer. This is
Mm,
a Cold War era. This is about mutually assured destruction. No one
mm,
can get off that base. Like
mm,
I really think it's a very sort of authoritarian, totalitarian way to do it, and I think it's wicked because he just doesn't trust any of them. He doesn't discuss it. He threatens them at gunpoint. Like
mm.
you know, I love the bit where he throws the gun at Charles after he's run out of ammo. Um, like I think it's wicked because he's just decided he knows better than everyone else, that he doesn't have time to hang around and discuss it. He's got to do what he's got to do. And it's such a nihilistic view that
Mm,
he's in his own mind he's a hero because he's sacrificing himself.
mm.
But it can't get off the base. Can't be allowed to spread. Wicked.
Yeah.
And that's why he's definitely not infected.
So then Copper suggests testing the infection by comparing the crew's blood against uncontaminated blood held in storage. This is where like the group completely lose faith in Gary's leadership because basically all the blood stores have been destroyed. But he was basically one of the few people, if not the only person, who had access to them. So they're all looking at him now, and he gets really defensive. And in the end, they just kind of like lose faith in him, and that's when Macready basically becomes the leader of the whole group. Key moment
Yeah,
in the film.
really cool as well because it very, very quickly establishes that one of them is the thing.
Mm,
Like, so, you know, they've killed Bennett. Like, maybe the
yeah.
danger's over. It's not over. Like, there is someone there actively sabotaging them. And what's also cool is it is as clever as they are.
Mm. But
Because
this is when I
testing the
started to look at Palmer though, because Palmer keeps pointing the finger at Windows without any kind of proof, and I kind of look at him and think, "This is a bit weird. Why are you doing that?" So I started
well,
to look at him.
yeah, but Windows got the keys off Gary earlier on.
Mm, mm,
Like this is what I quite like is that there's when you're in these scenes, there's only sort of red herrings and snippets. It's not clear who the thing is at this point. Like like I think I think that John Ginger is the thing, and he's the one who's done it at this. That's
mm,
my personal interpretation of it.
mm.
But I'm trying to think who else could be infected at this point. Blair, but Blair's locked up, isn't he?
Not Blair. I think it. Well, as we watch the film, we find out that Palmer ends up infected, but we don't see it happen on screen.
Yeah, so
So
it's
yeah.
Palmer or John Ginger, isn't it?
Well, they're both. Well, they're both infected.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's one of those two that messes with the blood.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that what
one
we're
of them.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
you
one of
think
them
it's
two.
Palmer?
I do, only because of the way he quickly points the finger at Windows unjustly, trying to get him into trouble.
Maybe, but
Mm.
it's just so good, isn't it? Because
Yeah, because you don't know.
yeah, you don't know. He's like an Agatha Christie.
Mm.
But we get John Ginger refusing command here. I think that's really important,
Yeah.
and Macready taking over.
But for
Um,
me, the way Gary just relinquishes his control and his leadership so easily, I thought that was quite weak. Very weak, wasn't it? Like, even
yeah,
though obviously maybe he just hands over everything. He just puts the gun down, says, maybe I'm not the right man. But I'm like, wow, you've done it. You've just given up so easy.
yeah, but it's also because he's under suspicion, isn't he?
Mm.
So it's him and Doc, like, and the Doctor, basically,
Mm.
that are the two. One had it looks to everyone else that it could only be one of those two. So
Yeah.
he understands that he can't lead, like, from this position of weakness. They're not going to trust
Mm.
him, are they? So the
No.
best thing for him and his men is to pick who he thinks is a good leader that will also do well by him. Because Charles would just shoot him.
Mm,
Like Childs would shoot both of them. Blair would
yeah.
shoot both of them.
Mm,
McCready doesn't. He's level-headed. I really like what Agile said earlier about him being a Vietnam pilot.
yeah.
Like,
He seems like a good guy, doesn't he? He just seems like the guy that will do the right thing no matter what.
yeah, because
Yeah.
in my
He's a very good character.
when you make up backstories for stuff, I always just thought that he just got out of a relationship and just found himself in Antarctica, like quite a lot of people I met in South America. But can we have a look at some of the comments, see if they've got anything to say? Because I really like this kind of investigation stuff.
That big block of biases explained in the
Yeah.
2011 movie.
No, we're up to Bilal. We're up to Bilal saying, "Has anyone seen the new Frankenstein film?" I haven't seen that film.
All right, 1 second.
I'm not an enormous fan of Frankenstein, to be honest.
You can feel it's a free for all once the entire gang turn on McCready and he takes it upon himself to defend himself and trust nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's later, isn't it? Right. So he thinks Palmer is one of the earliest infected. I'm fairly sure Palmer is patient zero, as it were. But yeah, like so.
Yeah,
No, I don't. Is
there's a clue,
Palmer's
yeah.
not John Ginger, is he?
No. Palmer's the dark-haired guy. John
All right. So
Ginger's
you,
the
yeah,
good
yeah.
guy.
So everyone thinks, but so you guys think Palmer first. All right, fair enough. I just think, I think John Ginger. And I also don't like the way John Ginger dies. I don't think it's explained well enough. Because he dies from a heart attack, innit?
Mm.
Like, and I don't know. I didn't like that. But right, and then what? All right, what happens after that? We
Hold on. We are
someone's committed suicide, haven't they?
Yeah, so give me a second, I know where we are. So after McCready takes command, McCready, Windows, and Nowles, they find that Fuchs has been burnt, or he's burnt himself, and assume that he committed suicide to avoid assimilation.
Do you think he
Windows,
did?
yeah. I do. Windows returns to base while McCready and Nowles investigate McCready's shack.
So
And
you
then,
don't think
yeah,
that is you don't think that is the thing, like I don't know. Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I think that you have to say that it is an actual like suicide, because why would the thing burn a potential host?
exactly.
Yeah, like I mean, I can think of reasons why, but they're just not. It's not as satisfying. So, and that was the guy, wasn't it? That he was the one who found all the like the cars broken, like the
Yeah,
tractor and things. Yeah.
yeah.
And is this the bit where they see the light on in McCready's shack?
Yeah, Niles basically abandons him because obviously they
Yeah.
see that his light's on. They think he's been assimilated because they find that his clothes are
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, no, yeah, because he says that I'm going up there, and then like Rollerblades picks up the long johns or whatever they are, and it's got McCready's name on it.
Yeah.
So at this point, did you think McCready was the thing?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I didn't.
Me neither. But I really like the fact that the thing is messing with people here.
It would have been powerful, though. I'll be honest with you. It would have been a really powerful film if you find out that he's the thing all along at the end, but they never went that route. It would have been interesting if they'd done that, but they didn't.
No, well, I love the way the film ends, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is I love the bit where he goes, the thing is I know I turned my light off, and then you look and the light is on.
Yeah.
And it's I think like what's the thing's plan here? Is it waiting to ambush them? Like what's going on? Because there's so much stuff that happens that is explained from just one person's point of view, which is that Knowles comes back and says, "I lost him in the snowstorm," and then shows everyone like McCready's thing. It's got to be him.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they make the right choice, don't they? Don't let McCready in.
Yeah, so they start debating, don't they, whether to let him
Yeah.
inside, and then he ends up breaking him in. He holds him at bay with like the dynamite in his hand, that's when you're thinking, wow, things are going up. Like the stakes are getting risen even more. And then it's during this bit where Norris, who we call him John Ginger, he has a heart attack. Well, he appears to have a heart attack. It's not really.
Well, no, I think he does. I think earlier on in the film, he's complaining about having a weak heart. With the idea is that it's a perfect copy, so it's copied his perfectly weak heart.
And then Copper attempts to defibrillate him, and then this is where we see a really good. This is where we see a really good practical effect. Norris's chest transforms into a large mouth.
Not practical.
Bites off his arms and kills him. Special effects.
I don't think it's practical. I think it's a mix.
Okay.
Like the bit where it bites, I think is one of the first uses of CGI.
Is it?
I think so. The first use of CGI is in a film called Young Sherlock Holmes, and I think that this is one of the second or third uses of it. Like when it bites his hand off for the first time, I think it's CGI combined with practical, like a matte effect or something. But then the next, the bit where the doc is running around with no hands, just wobbling about and stuff. And my God, when the head comes off Tyrone, I hate body horror, but that is so sick the way it grows, like the way it's just brilliant, and I love it when they turn around. I just love it where he turns around and goes, "You've got to be fucking kidding!" Like I think
I laughed when he
said that.
Yeah, I did laugh when he said that. And then McCready just he incinerates both of them, like the body and the head, which is really good.
Yeah, but it's just like it's just it's so cool. Because what I also like about this film is in a lot of films you kind of think that they're being a bit idiotic. Like the obvious one is Prometheus, isn't it, with scientists being very stupid. But in this, I think that they're all quite clever in their own ways. And so I really like how this now leads on to the blood test scene.
Yeah, so this is the kind of like the bit McCready's kind of realizing that every part of the thing is its own individual life form, and it's got like a survival instinct, and that's where he first like proposes that they all get tied down and everyone has to have their blood samples tested.
Well, this Tyrone,
great scene.
This is why I got really pissed off with Sinners.
Okay, explain.
This is do you remember the garlic scene in Sinners? They're trying to do this scene and they do it terribly.
Yeah.
Do you agree that's what they were trying to do, where everyone's meant to eat the garlic?
You know what? I think some of the films we've watched after Sinners, they kind of execute things so much better. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of over Sinners, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
maybe that's bad, but yeah, I'm over it.
Like, I don't think we mentioned this on stream, but off stream, Quentin Tarantino has been very influenced by The Thing to the degree that The Hateful Eight can be seen as a remake of The Thing, and as can Reservoir Dogs with similar themes. But I believe that Quentin Tarantino has said that this is one of the most impressive scenes that he's seen in a film, and I agree with him because I think the pacing is absolutely brilliant. The way it's built up, the way, like the way that it's the tension because when Windows is being tested, it's so clear that the actor is trying to show he's nervous, but also convey to the audience that he's nervous about being caught.
Mm.
Like,
Who you
so
mean? Windows is the guy who plays Windows or the other actor?
no
Palmer.
Windows.
Okay.
Like, I think it's really cool because when they're doing Windows, I thought loads of them are tied up. It's going to be one of the ones that's free.
Okay.
Because that will make it scarier. And yeah, so it's like an Agile Beast is saying the suspense and tension in this film is brilliant. I couldn't agree more.
It is. No, I agree. Yeah.
This is, and it's also like, it's the execution of the jump scare is world class as well.
Yeah.
It's just
it's like it's because it got me. I did jump. It's the first time I watched that. I jumped. It had me jumping out my skin. I was like, oh my god.
And I love it because
yeah.
Right, fair enough. McCready not being no problem with that, right? I think that. But everyone else, I have no idea. And also we've got to remember that Gary gets killed before the Dogman gets killed before this.
Oh yes, obviously because he looks at McCready and he's about to kind of attack him with a scalpel
He's
and
going
then
to
he gets
stab him.
shot. Yeah, he gets shot, unfortunately, and it's sad because his blood gets tested, and then I think that's when Charles says to him, "You've just, I guess that makes you a murderer." Yeah, I guess that makes you a murderer because his blood's fine.
I love Charles, man. He's such a dickhead. Like,
you need a character like that.
I just, as an antagonist, I think he's fantastic because he's not wrong most of the time. He's aggressive. I think he's a brilliant villain, as it were. He reminds me a lot of it. Have you seen The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I've seen season 1 and 2. Once it got into season 3, I lost interest.
He reminds me a lot of Shane from The Walking Dead.
Shane, yeah, he's probably one of the best characters in the whole thing.
Yeah, especially that bit where Shane shoots someone in the leg, so the zombies eat him and he can get away. I love that.
Yeah,
but
that was a dark scene.
Well, that's just that's cool. That's my kind of guy.
Well, no, I think the thing I didn't like about him is that he's in that whole series at the beginning. He's with his best friend's wife.
Yeah, and then the best friend comes back. It's like the reverse of that that Tom Hanks film with the volleyball Wilson, where he comes back after 3 years. His wife's moved on, gutted. Bilal, maybe you're here, maybe you're not. I don't. We haven't decided what the next film is. We're going to do it at the end. It's not going to be a horror, and I tell you that right now. I'm done with scary films. That's it. I can't watch another scary film. But yeah, this scene, Tyrone, I've got to say, is what I genuinely think that the only thing that I've seen that has come close to this scene is, have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah.
You know the bit where there's some Jewish people hiding under the floorboards and Hans Lauder is talking to a Frenchman? I think these scenes, like the tension in them, I find that these are the only kind of scenes I've seen where I've been like, this is unbearable.
I think the most shocking scene in Inglourious Basterds is the choking scene, where I think Quentin Tarantino actually used his own hands for it. I think that's a shocking scene.
Yeah, but it's not. I'm talking about the tension and the suspense, like, because it's also really slow. That's what I like about it, is it goes so slowly, and then Gary goes absolutely mental, and then he just sort of like, it's like a punctuation mark. He just sort of taps it, and then it just jumps out in the air, and Palmer starts going.
Well, that's when I kind of feel sorry for the people that were tied up, because they're clearly not infected and they're in danger of being attacked and can't defend themselves.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're infected or not. I mean, Charles, you don't know if Charles and the rest of them are infected at that point. They haven't been tested. Have they?
He definitely tested a few of them before it got to Palmer.
I think the 3 on the bench hadn't been tested.
Well, he tests them afterwards, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah.
When you find out that they're fine.
And then poor old Windows, man.
Yeah. It always seems that actor always seems to die horrible deaths. First
Yeah,
the
but
Warriors and now this.
it's just getting picked up and eaten like that. And I do think it's a bit corny that the flamethrower isn't working.
Yeah,
Like,
but you expect it though, don't you? You
kind
just
of, yeah.
expect it.
He needs to, but yeah. And then
It wasn't a surprise. It was predictable, wasn't it?
yeah, I suppose so. But
Yeah.
it's like man, it's such a top scene. I mean, I would say that that is the best scene by a country mile in the film.
Mm.
Would you agree?
Didn't shock me. It didn't shock me as much as the first one, but yeah, it was shocking. It was
Well, no,
shocking.
it's not about it like having shock factor. Just it's just so cool. Like,
You're talking about execution now, aren't you?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
like I genuinely think that like because it's so simple. It's just 4 or 5 people in a room, and it's so
Mm.
tense and things. And it's definitely something that we need to look at in a short film. Is trying to emulate how they do that. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's the reason I picked this film as well for that scene.
I think people who do like a murder mystery, like if you're in like a haunted house and they want to find out who the killer is, something like this scene will be looked at and kind of scrutinized and kind of looked at and like, how did they execute it like this? How can we do something similar?
Yeah,
That's
it's a
what people will look at.
masterclass.
It is, yeah, it is. It's definitely a masterclass in terms of screenwriting and like pacing for sure because they got
Yeah,
it spot on.
Clark, who's shot, his blood tested clear. Yeah, like which I actually think is probably one of the most shocking things in the film because Clark, from the minute that dog jumped on him, you just assumed he was going to be the thing. It never was.
But that's why
Crazy.
it was confusing because obviously everyone says, "Oh, the dog was infected at the beginning." All right, fair enough. Well, how come it never infected Clark then? That's one thing I've looked at. But
Yeah, like what? Maybe
yeah,
because it was just too obvious.
mm, I don't know.
Um, all right, and then the next thing is that they go to Tess Blair, don't they?
Yeah, so they basically go. I think it's McCready, Gary, and Niles who go to test Blair, and it's
Yeah,
really crazy because they find out like he's escaped, and apparently he'd been using vehicle components to make his own flying saucer, which is
yeah.
interesting.
That is so fucking stupid, but I quite enjoy.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it because he's like he's sort of dug a hole in the corner
Mm,
of his prison, and has like made this little cave, and in it he's working on building a flying saucer.
yeah.
Um, but what's the real tragedy, though, is that Blair, he was desperate not to be the thing, and it still
Mm,
got him. And I'd
yeah.
love, like, how do you think he got caught?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know.
There's a convincing fan theory about how he got caught, which
What's
is
that?
that I think Fuchs at one point says, we've got to start eating from cans only now.
Yeah. I remember that line.
And there's a bit where you saw Blair in his cell with a noose and him eating out of the cans. And I
Mm.
think that I agree with this. The fan theory is that the first meal he was served had thing in it, and
Uh,
he's been sort of assimilated slowly, and he was
Without
going to try.
realizing.
Yeah, he was going to try and hang
Mm,
himself, but it took him over too quickly.
okay,
Um,
fair enough. That's interesting.
yeah, do you find that I find that very convincing, to be honest,
Who is
because
he? So when he's building this flying saucer, is he doing that as Blair or is he doing that as the thing?
as the
That's
thing
what
for
my
me,
question. Yeah, but it would make sense, more sense. That's the thing.
because everything when he was human Blair, he was nihilistic, up for dying. Everyone has to die.
Mm,
We can't let the thing escape. And
mm,
yep, sure, maybe being in jail for like 3 days or 4 days sends you a bit doolally. But I think it's too much of a departure for him to start doing this 18 style UFO in the basement. So I
But then
think
I thought them destroying the flying saucer and stuff, I thought that was a bit like, all right, you want to destroy it, but who knows? The thing might decide to just leave Earth in it. Do you know what I mean? Are you guys like not?
that's a very good point, actually.
That's what I
I
was
never
thinking.
considered
Like, why
that.
did they do? Why did they destroy the flying saucer? Because the thing might be thinking to itself, all right, I need to get away from Earth, go back to where I'm actually from. But they decide to destroy it, which is very close-minded.
Do you know what? That would have been really interesting at the end. If they hadn't have
Mm.
destroyed the flying saucer and McCready and Charles are sitting there freezing to death, if McCready or Charles had said to the other one, like, when I die, just take your saucer and go home.
Mm. Mm.
That would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah, that would have been really interesting.
I thought that the film kind of misses an opportunity to kind of communicate with the humans who aren't infected. So what I would have liked to have seen is this thing speaking to them like in plain English about its plan and why it does what it does, kind of giving us, kind of speaking to them on that kind of level, like this is why
Yeah,
you're there. But it
interesting
doesn't do that.
idea. Interesting
Mm,
idea. The act of it, like negotiating,
mm,
like, but all it would able to be, all it would be, it would be like you have to leave the planet, and that's it, and do you trust it, and so on. And I think that what that does, right, is it changes the paranoia aspect of the film.
yeah.
So I'm not completely sure about that. Have you
Mm.
guys seen Life 2017? I have. Have you seen that, Tyrone?
No, I'd have to watch it. I haven't seen it.
It's actually pretty good, except for a very stupid scene at the beginning. It's about like this. They find a single cell organism that basically keeps growing and growing and growing. And it's a decent sci-fi horror film, like
Okay.
6 out of 10 job. Um, but yeah, and then what do we do? Yeah, we basically get roller skates and Gary getting killed, don't we? And turned into a big thing.
Yeah, so this is obviously they're kind of like looking for they're looking for gosh, why am I forgetting his name?
Looking for Blair, aren't they?
Blair, that's it. They're looking for Blair, and then Blair comes out of nowhere, which for me, that was like a jump scare because I wasn't seeing it coming, and he puts his hand over Gary's mouth and basically suffocates him or kills him.
Yeah, he sort
I
of
thought
puts
that
it
was yeah,
through it.
I thought that was a more powerful death than any of the other ones we've seen up to that point. I thought it was really dark, and it's the actor, it's the way he like, it's the way there's literally nothing bit behind his eyes. Thought he just did that perfectly.
Yeah, he did. He did it really well, and he's also in the
Mm.
same clothes as
Yeah.
well, which now we come, I suppose, to the big bit, which is Childs and McCready.
Mm.
Is Childs infected? Is he the thing? We assume that McCready isn't the thing, right? Because he's blown it up and killed it.
Mm.
So is Childs infected?
Well, they find out he's missing before that. Before we kind of come to the end, obviously
Yeah,
they
you
look
see
for
him
Blair.
running away, don't you?
Yeah.
And he says that he
Um,
was chasing Blair.
yeah, and then there's like this theory that McCready comes up with that the thing is attempting to hibernate. That's why all the
Yes.
power's been kind of taken off, so it can hibernate again and wait for like a rescue from maybe some its other kind or something like
Well,
that.
no, I think it's a rescue from like other people,
Mm.
from like to get it out of Antarctica onto the
To be
mainland,
discovered
as it
again.
were. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I don't
basically.
think it's waiting for its like alien mates to turn up.
Mm.
But it's going to be rescued by a rescue. It's exactly what Blair said he didn't
Mm.
want to happen. But I think, right, so with the ending, most people will have like there's a couple of fan theories, right?
Mm.
Bilal, you're back. I'm sorry. We don't know what film we're watching next week. We're gonna do it in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Decide what we're gonna watch. Right, all of you. Right, Childs. Who thinks Childs is infected? Bilal, you think he's infected? Agile, do you think he's infected? Tyrone, do you think he's infected?
Who, Charles?
Yeah.
No.
All right. There's a fan theory that Charles is infected because in the last scene you can see McCready's breath like kind of freezing in the snow.
And his isn't.
I would say that we know that the thing mimics stuff perfectly, so it's unlikely that that is the clue. For me, I actually don't think it matters if Childs is infected or not. It really reminds me of the end of.
They're both going to die regardless.
Well, yeah, but is it Memento? What's that film where they go into people's dreams? It's Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen.
Oh, Inception.
Inception, right? You know, in Inception, at the end, he spins his twiddly thing. Right. It doesn't matter if it falls or it doesn't fall. Okay. Because what it's about is that he doesn't look at it to see the result. That's the important thing. Here, I don't think it's important who is infected. It's about it's about them acknowledging how that they have fucked themselves over. Because they didn't trust each other.
It's a great scene.
Yeah, and then they share the vodka.
Bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, so if one of them's infected, the other one's now infected. It's about futility and how they've got themselves into this position because of their paranoia, the distrust, the inability to work together. That's kind of what it's about.
What did you think about Nels, the roller skater geezer, just disappearing though? Because he just disappears.
Yeah, I mean there's a 3 thing, isn't there, at the end? It's like got 3 faces or whatever.
So he might be part of that.
Yeah, I didn't like Knowles as a character. As I told you earlier, he's a bit too like jive turkey,
like a gimmick.
Like, yeah, exactly. And it's like I think that what would have been interesting is if Knowles and Charles had teamed up because they're black. That would have been interesting to me in this film. Like, if you started because it's an American film, so they're always going to go into race, aren't they? So it's quite interesting they don't do it in this film. But I would have thought that it would be quite interesting if people paired off on those kind of more tribal lines. Like, maybe McCready and Gary, because they fought in the war, like sort of team up or something like that. But yeah, I think Knowles is a really poor character, a bit of a stereotype. And it's a film of its time, and I'm sure there were people like that. And he's not presented as stupid or anything like that. It's just I've never met or seen anyone like that. Like, I mean, you see a lot of people. Do you see a lot of people roller skating around South London talking like that, bandanas on?
Not talking like that, but I definitely see people dressed like him rollerblading up and down the streets, so getting that way.
Fair enough. I, as I was saying that, I remembered going to Hyde Park once and nearly getting in a fight with a rollerblader.
It's quite a popular activity. Obviously, it's not something I enjoy. I don't like it.
What would have been quite funny is if he had ice skated away from the thing. Like, imagine if he was the thing, and the last shot of the film, right, is Charles and McCready in a helicopter, and Knowles is just ice skating away. They're superstitious, and they can't get him. Yeah. He's too smooth.
That would have been good. Very good scene.
Right. Let me see who thinks. Right, Bilal thinks Charles is infected.
So does Agile Beast.
Agile Beast thinks he's infected. Yeah, I agree. He wouldn't disappear for that amount of time. That's the thing. It's deliberately ambiguous because he disappeared, and it's supposed to be ambiguous. And regardless, they will both die without any food or heat or transportation. I completely agree. But for me, the ending is about how they didn't work together, and the Norwegians did. Like 2 Norwegians. Think of this, right? 2 Norwegians had guns, had their helicopter. And were going after the thing at the end, and the Americans, like their base blown up, both of them are dying in the snow.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what it's saying. Is the Norwegians were very shortchanged in this film. Like they absolutely did themselves over. Do you disagree?
No, I agree.
Or are
It
you on
makes a lot
WhatsApp
more
again?
sense. No, it just makes a lot more sense now.
Hello?
Obviously, what's going on here?
Tyrone,
Hello?
I'm just getting up our film list
Can you hear me?
while this is happening. Uh,
Hello?
Tyrone, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, lads, give your final scores then for the thing. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I want to give it a 9, but I really don't like the fact that there's a spaceship in the opening shot. I can't hear you, Tyrone. Like, maybe plug your mic in. I don't like the spaceship in the opening shot. I think that we needed more time with the characters at the beginning. And yeah, so I'll give it an 8. If you give it a 9 or a 10, I completely understand why. Bilal, a 6. You didn't, Bilal. Like, I'm sorry you didn't like this one. Is it like 6? Right, is an above average film. Would you say this is above average? No, yeah, Agile 9. Thought so. Like, you love this film. All right, so it is a Tyrone film next. What, guys, in the comments, give me a genre, and I have a look at what's on our list. Well, wait for Tyrone to get back. I don't want to watch that. 7 out of 10. All right, thanks, Tyrone. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys the choice of 3 films. The first film is 2001: Space Odyssey. The next film is Parasite, and the next film is Crash. Okay, I don't know. So Crash, Parasite, or Space or Thriller. Okay, so Tyrone, what is Crash? It's
Hello?
not the one where they bang over cars, is it? What's Crash?
Can you hear me now?
Is it 2004? Racial and social tension in Los Angeles. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Hello?
I think we're
Hello?
watching that film unless 2001? 2001? All right. Yeah, should we do 2001: A Space Odyssey? I've never seen it. I'm quite excited by it. I just like, is it a long film? Let me see. So 1968, 139 minutes. That's cool. Crash is race relations movie. I mean, we will watch Crash at some point. Tyrone, it's your choice. I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to watch Space Odyssey or Crash next week? All right, we are watching A Space Odyssey. So hopefully this will be on at 9 o'clock on Monday. Samuel Luckhurst looks like one of the astronauts. Big up, Samuel Luckhurst. All right, so I think that we're going to end it there. Shout outs to Agile Beast, Bilal, Tully,
Hello?
Carl. Is anyone else? Hope you enjoyed that one. And at some point, we might be able to find a film that Bilal enjoys that he hasn't seen. But yeah, thank you for watching. If for some reason someone has listened to this not live, feel free to leave comments and we'll reply to them and things. Sorry for the technical hitches we've had, and I hope that you enjoyed that because we loved it. So it is a good night from me. Oh, it's a good night from me. Yeah, it's Tyrone, isn't it? Yeah, hello. Thank you for watching.
Hello?
All right, goodbye.
Oh.